This morning's announcement from Her Majesty's government, if indeed we can still call it Her Majesty's, will shock the country and shake our system of representative democracy and constitutional monarchy to its very core. For centuries now, the reigning monarch has been the head of the Church of England, a Protestant organisation respected the world over and fully in keeping with the character of Anglicanism worldwide, as well as the prevailing culture across these fair isles. It was the tolerance and fair-mindedness of Anglicanism that brought an end to the religious wars that once so blighted our country. Even in Northern Ireland, where the struggle is as much about national identity and exploitation as it is about religion per se, the Anglican Church has called for peace, along with its Roman Catholic brethren. We don't have separation of church and state in this country as they do in the US. We still have bishops and archbishops in the House of Lords making laws, for example, but those clergymen tend to act as much in a secular capacity as in a religious one. Such has it been for longer than any of us have been alive, and such, we imagined, would it remain until today. As we know, early in this parliamentary term of office, Boris used his overwhelming majority to push through an enabling act, allowing him and his ministers to make law related both to Brexit and to COVID without reference to Parliament and without notice to the populace. We saw this with the many announcements and U-turns regarding lockdown and negotiations around Europe. One piece of legislation was announced late one evening after most people had gone to bed and resulted in arrests and prosecutions the very next morning, as people went about their business completely oblivious to the fact that the law had changed while they slept. And now they've done it again. Under cover of the recent explosion in COVID-19 infections, Jacob Rees-Mogg, the leader of the House and a vociferous Roman Catholic, has single-handedly swept away the very basis both of our constitutional monarchy and our traditional political and religious structure. He's done so by claiming that only divine intervention can truly defeat COVID, and so we need, as a nation, to get right with God. As of 1 minute past midnight this morning, the official religion of England and Wales is no longer Anglicanism. It is, in fact, Roman Catholicism. The justification for this is ancient. It harks back to a deal made in the 13th century by King John, disparagingly known at the time as John Lackland. He gave this country to the Pope as a papal serfdom in return for help in raising funds to wage war in France. The deal was struck in 1213 and annual payments of 1,000 marks were made in tribute to the Pope every year until 1290. After that they were irregularly offered until the final tribute was given by Edward III in 1333. In the hope that this would secure papal favours on the international stage. It didn't, and so the tribute was never paid again. And although the English Parliament eventually ruled the sale of UK invalid, the Vatican has never formally relinquished its hold over the nation. Consequently, Brexit or no Brexit, England belongs to the Roman Catholic Church and has done for over 800 years. Scotland was never part of the agreement in 1213, and so it remains to be seen how our brothers north of the border will fare. It may be that the next big building project will involve the restoration not only of monasteries, but of Hadrian's Wall as well. We'll have to wait and see about that. What we do know is that there are precious few Tory voters in Scotland, so this particular incarnation of the Conservative and Unionist Party will have few qualms in letting our northern neighbours go adrift if it suits their short-term goals. This is the backdrop behind Rees-Mogg's modern religious coup, relying upon ancient documents detailing the transfer of ownership from the Crown to the Pope, he has declared England a fiefdom once again. This is possible because of recent legislation disempowering our domestic judges, who are no longer in a position to overrule or even question the work of government. Furthermore, the Roman Catholic Backbench Committee, Opus Hominem, has declared the acquisition of Roman Catholic property during Henry VIII's dissolution of the monasteries unlawful, and empowered Rees-Mogg to order the return of all Anglican properties to the Roman Catholic Church with immediate effect. Any Anglican clergyman maintaining possession of such buildings after midnight, so now, effectively, will be guilty not only of theft, but also of heresy. The new law goes further. Since there was no Anglican church in the 13th century, King John's Pact was made from the perspective of Roman Catholicism, and so only Roman Catholic law can repeal it.
The future you.
At that time, and subsequently, failure to observe the tenets of the Roman Church constituted heresy. Even if not originally baptized into Roman Catholicism, anyone professing to be Christian was covered by the Papal Inquisition and punishable under its auspices. This was the basis of the Albigensian Crusades against the Cathars of southern France. They were Christians whose crime, among other things, was to argue that they didn't need a priest to speak with God. They could do so directly. Very much like the Anglican position as it happens. Anglicans are Protestants, and as such are equally liable to accusations of heresy from Mother Church. Of course, nobody will be getting burned at the stake or hanged as they did in centuries past, but Rees-Mogg has identified his own modern approach to undermining ecumenical relations in UK. Beginning this Sunday, all citizens of England and Wales will be expected to attend Mass and give confession. Those not properly baptised have been given 1 month to do so, after which they too will be expected to take communion in this newly Catholicised state. Those who fail to do so will face imprisonment and sequestration of funds to pay for the repair of church buildings destroyed since the dissolution. This account of draconian legislation is, of course, an April Fool's Day joke, but take a look at what's really going on. Click the link below. These genuine new laws taken together really will undermine our rights, our citizenship, and our democracy. And there's nothing funny about that. April or not, the government really is taking us all for fools.